Hey guys, welcome to SJU. It's Monday. We're talking Fantastic Beasts 3 today. Should Warner Brothers go full Gaston and kill this beast, or is this beauty worth saving? Still got it, baby. Joining me to talk about this, our own editor-in-chief, Eric Goldman. Hello, sir.
Hello there.
And my head writer, captain and inspiration, Spencer J. Gilbert.
Reporting for duty.
Oh, yeah. And the mower right outside, he came back too, guys. I'm very excited to be back. Kat right off screen. She'll do something stupid in a minute. Let's jump into this. And then after Fantastic Beasts, we're going to do a little AMA with you guys. So go ahead and start getting those questions in. Ryan is compiling them. So, Fantastic Beasts. This is Viva Variety. Warner Brothers made the formal announcement that Fantastic Beasts 3 will be delayed until 2022 as part of a larger statement, which also revealed that Johnny Depp, who portrays the Dark Wizard Grindelwald, is exiting the franchise. Depp, on his end, said, "I have been asked to resign by Warner Brothers from my role as Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts, and I have respected and agreed to that request." Which to me is like verbiage that a general uses when the Pentagon makes them resign. But I've been asked to resign from my role as head Dark Wizard. So Depp's departure from the franchise obviously comes just a couple days after he lost his libel case against the Sun tabloid over a 2018 article alleging that he was a wife beater. Depp, of course, says he plans to appeal that ruling. Blah, blah, blah. There's plenty of places where you can read about the that end of things if you want, the tabloid end of this, if you want to jump into it. Fantastic Beasts 3 is still currently in production, and apparently the role of Grindelwald is just going to be recast. Exact date, obviously not confirmed yet, because they're still trying to figure out when movies are going to come out ever again. J.K. Rowling wrote the scripts for the first two. The guy who penned 7 of the 8, Steve Kloves, Steve Kloves penned 7 of the 8 Harry Potter movies, is co-scripting the third movie with Rowling because someone was like, "Oh, she doesn't know how to write movies. We should help." So it's kind of all over the place. The first one, was a commercial success. The second one was kind of a critical disaster. Is it just, to quote our friend Dan Merle, you can just not make a movie? Is that an option, you guys? Is this salvageable? Is it worth it? Should they just walk and do something else with the wizards? Talk to me.
Like a dealer in Vegas, I'm out. I can't speak for the fandom at large and other Potterheads, but I think that I was out with Fantastic Beasts 2, and this, I don't know, my timeline's a little rough, but I think Fantastic Beasts 2 was pre-anti-trans crusade J.K. Rowling. I don't know, I wasn't paying too close attention, but so I was out even before, my stomach turned at the author and creator herself. And this, the Johnny Depp, Amber Heard stuff is it's just a hot mess. This has been going on for a long time, and there's tapes of her, there's audio of him, there's vice versa. It's going into courts, it's going in the tabloids. It's just such a gross, long, drawn out, nasty divorce settlement. So that's not fun to pay attention to. I liked Colin Farrell a lot in the role. I'm sure he could stroll back in and say, I messed up a spell, and now this is what I look like. Deal with it. But I just have no... Harry Potter has left my brain. There's now open real estate. I'm taking offers. Right now, Dune lore has put in a good deposit. I'm out goes the Hufflepuffs, in go the Atreides. So I just don't care what happens to Harry Potter anymore. And it's because of the Fantastic Beasts franchise and J.K. Rowling. And it's just an unpleasant thing to look at. Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, and Fantastic Beasts 2 is just something that I don't want to pay any attention to. They've lost me, and I was a huge fan.
This is a mess, for sure. I do think, if you're Warner Brothers, you finish it. Are they going to make 5 of these suckers? Because that's what they're supposed to do. I don't know about that. I see a statement coming where they go, we looked at it and we realized we could finish this story quicker. But I do think, because these movies, the first one was a big hit, for a spin-off. Like, I think it was a legitimate hit. And I liked the first one personally. I didn't love it, but I thought it was a fun movie. That second one, even, I don't hate it as much as some people, but it's kind of like all the worst examples of like a sequel that's just throwing things at you with no real context just to build things for other movies. It turned people on the series, and I totally get it. I do think if you're Warner Brothers, though, unless these movies completely drop off the edge and are making nothing, they finish it, again, maybe in 4 movies, not 5, because I do think they see the value for them in having a complete story that a lot of people probably won't go see in the theaters that lives on HBO Max for years. And that some people is like, oh, I never watched those Fantastic Beasts movies. And you want an ending. And I know Divergent is kind of like that crazy example of a movie that got... There's a lot of movies that only had one movie and there was a setup for a sequel and we never got the sequel. Divergent was a crazy one where we got 3 out of 4. I don't think this happens with this one. I think that Warner Brothers has too much invested in the entire brand, in the fact that there are theme parks that are still, well, when theme parks are open, usually packing people into the Wizarding World and merchandise to move, that they don't just not finish this. So even though it is a huge mess and there is so much baggage attached, I think they still end it one way or the other, like an actual story conclusion.
Well, the Divergent and the streaming mention is interesting. Is there a way to, with the coolness, I guess, of streaming series, is there a way to salvage this in being like, well, instead of 5 movies, we're just doing a sweet limited series on HBO Max to wrap this thing up? Like, perception-wise, will people go, oh, cool, Fantastic Beasts, but a streaming series? I'm in.
I mean, of course, yeah, and that would be... that'd be an interesting move if you could retain the cast, and because I think people like Newt a lot, and people allegedly want to see Fantastic Beasts. Didn't see too many last time. Would love to see them. So you'd have to retain some type of mega budget, because I think that some of the bright spots and the appeal of it is like the creature work and the effects work that they managed to put into the first 2. What is a Fantastic Beasts movie without those Fantastic Beasts? We saw. It's Johnny Depp hitting a wizard bong and telling you that he wouldn't have let the Holocaust happen. It's weird. It's not pleasant. And the problem is, I think that JK, like, I imagine that her deal is like she really holds the reins on what they do with this franchise. Like, yeah. She would have to be on board with pivoting, because she called her shot. Like, I've got an idea for a 5-movie story, no more, no less, and that's what she is working on. So it's actually the first bit of encouraging news I heard was that she now has a co-screenwriter, because I feel like books and movies are different, and somebody who has more experience on the movie side could really tighten those and make it more of a visual story than people just randomly walking into rooms and giving you a speech about something that might happen 2 movies from now.
I'm honestly shocked that she allowed that to even happen. She just seems like the kind of person who would be like, help? I wonder how they tricked her into it. Well, you're just so busy with your detective novels. We just wanted to get you an assistant to help.
I was just going to say that it's interesting just to think with a few years ago when Divergent, when that happened, Lionsgate at the time claimed, oh, we're going to still finish it as a TV movie. And of course that never happened. And also, the cast would have had to be renegotiated because you can't just switch them over. And it was clearly a demotion to do that. And like all those people like Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley and all were like, no. Several years later now, it wouldn't seem quite as insane if Fantastic Beasts, again, this is all hypothetical, but if Fantastic Beasts were to pivot to HBO Max, still be a huge, big budget deal, that's a much different story than Divergent turns into a TV movie. So, and when it has the Snyder Cut shows you now a HBO Max limited series, suddenly things seem much more different and possible than just a few years ago. So in this hypothetical seems like something that could maybe possibly happen if that's the way they wanted to finish this series.
Yeah. And, not to pile on, too much, there are things about the Fantastic Beasts movies that I like. Jacob, weirdly, is my favorite Harry Potter character. He's so fun.
I love him. Yeah.
He's so great. I love the sisters. And yeah, I loved Colin Farrell in the first one. And even, before, all of the like handkerchief memes and like gross stuff about Depp was coming out, I was bored he was just even at that point, he was just overexposed. The landscaping guy outside agrees. Why he's mowing louder. He's like, I know it should have just been Colin Farrell. He was just boring to me at that point.
He has the energy of a guy who's doing movies against his will at this point. At least like big franchise movies. Like they just drag him out to put on the bandanas and the jewelry and to kind of mumble through another Pirates movie just because he's like in debt. Like that's the vibe he gives off. So when Colin Farrell turned into Johnny Depp, before I was even in any sense following the divorce and stuff like that, I was like, oh, wah wah.
Yeah, he does feel a little like Rickman in Galaxy Quest. He's just putting on his guy liner like another convention.
Has the rum gone?
Also, there's a strange like fable thing to all this because again, I know everything with him and Amber Heard. There's so much to it, and people have very strong feelings on it. And I see people on Twitter who are like, now I'll never watch the Fantastic Beasts movies because I love Johnny Depp and believe him so much. And then there's people who didn't want to see the movies because he's in them. All that aside, there's something kind of strange and ironic about the fact that he probably would still have the part if he didn't do the lawsuit against the tabloid. Because once they came to a settlement, it seemed like Warner Brothers was like, okay, we're just going to continue on. But because he did that lawsuit against the Sun tabloid in the UK, now I have construction noise in my house, because he did that and he lost that, it seems like that was the last straw for Warner Brothers. So yeah, it's a very strange scenario where how much, you have a studio that's having to make this decision about how much bad press can we take. And he's not the only person bringing us bad press here, but he is the most public facing because as famous as J.K. Rowling is as a writer, and she's one of the most famous writers ever, she's not Johnny Depp famous. She's not like cover of tabloids all the time famous. Yeah. So I think they just decided, okay, it's time to cut this loose.
Guys, they just started another mower, so let me ask another question and then read you.
We're circling each other like they one of them will challenge the other.
Get out of here, Paul. His name is Paul. So Spencer, I know you were sort of saying like Harry Potter out of your brain. But is there anything that they can do to like salvage this franchise? Like, what do they need to do next? Cody Smith in chat says maybe Warner Brothers could make a Harry Potter animated series. He just feels so apathetic about Fantastic Beasts at this point. Are there, I'd love an R's cop show. Bad Mage. Are there directions that you guys could see sort of sparking some life back into Harry Potter?
No. Look, and that's fine. Like, people outgrow franchises. Maybe you should. Like, maybe the books you read when you were 10, 11, 12, upon revisiting, maybe your tastes have matured. Maybe you don't need to keep remaking the same thing over and over again. That said, I think that the best thing that they've created about Harry Potter is the world, and letting other creators play in that world could bring new and exciting things. But while it's in the iron grip of JK, and maybe she hasn't pushed the series in new directions that maybe it should go. So if other people, if there was like a Harry Potter anthology series where different creators could take a shot at writing a Harry Potter story, like a Black Mirror but with wands or something like that, that could be cool. But while this creative team is still in control, like I've moved on. Yeah. But what more can I say?
And it's not just Rowling. No shade to David Yates. He's a talented director, but let someone else.
A different vision for it would be great. Yeah, but I'm not at the Spencer level. I mean, I still love this world, and someone who, when I can go to theme parks or goes to them frequently, I still love going to the Wizarding World. Last year I went to Orlando and I went on that brand new Hagrid coaster. It's freaking awesome. And I look forward to riding it again sometime because it's a great ride. And I love the Wizarding World in general, and Diagon Alley in Orlando is great. Also, that trailer for that new video game, the open world game that's like set in the late 1800s at Hogwarts, I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, I love this. So I still love the world. I do think you're onto something there, Joe, about a different filmmaker, though, because it is, I think, begging for that. I mean, yeah, I think Yates has done great stuff with it. I love most of his movies that he did in the Potter universe. But at the same time, look at what Karan did. I think this is ripe for throwing to different filmmakers, and it's sort of deciding that David Yates would direct 9 movies in a row, if you include the Potter and the Fantastic Beasts, or is it 10? It's a lot. I think you got to mix in some different filmmakers there.
Have you guys seen Tigers Are Not Afraid?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Issa Lopez would be a great.
Yes.
You're right. Just her, I don't know, her, it's worth checking out, Spencer. I think you'd like it a lot. But just, I don't know, her, the visual style, and I think it'd be a good fit. A third mower. Okay, here we go.
Is this like Mower Wars, like race wars in the Fast and Furious
BattleBot
movie?
situation happening in my yard. Hey guys, you want more mower updates? Like and subscribe over here. And it is November, which here in the States means Veterans Day. And sorry, so many mowers. They're so loud.
What's going to crash through your wall any second?
God, I'm trying to be sincere. Okay, sincere and mower, same time. November means Veterans Day for us, and so we're proud this month to be once again spotlighting our friends over at Stack Up. Stack Up, they're on their 5th year of existence. Happy birthday to you guys. They bring veterans and civilians together through a shared love of gaming. They serve U.S. and allied service members, veterans, and civilians to assist in crisis intervention, suicide prevention, issues concerning mental health. I'm trying. I'm so sorry. Issues concerning mental health through gaming and community. November is their call to arms, which is their biggest fundraising push. So please visit stackup.org for more information. We have a link in the description. It's a fantastic cause. They're a great group of folks. We've known them and worked with them for a long, long time. Hopefully, if we ever get to see people in public again or at a convention, we'll see you guys again soon. But in the meantime, please check them out and check out everything they're doing this month for their call to arms. We absolutely love them. And yeah, click that link. You guys want to answer some questions from the chat?
Shoot.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask and then mute because, oh my God.
But not ask and then newt, like Fantastic Beasts.
Singular Rookhart asks, question for the gang. Are you guys into board games or card games? And if so, which games? And mute.
Well, I know you are, Joe. I mean, you should probably talk about your 40K addiction, right?
I mean, it's too loud here. Talk about Texas Hold'ems for a second, Spencer.
Not a poker player, and I will speak on Joe's behalf. Although I don't know if it even is considered a board game, right? Like you paint the little Warhammer boys.
I do. I paint Warhammer boys, and then eventually you put them on a table and play with them. So I guess that's a board game.
Yeah. I'm looking for good board games. Quarantine is exhausted our your Scrabbles and we play Sequence is a good one, and we just got one European one that we played like once or twice, and they're never going to play again, like because it's too complicated. So yeah, I can't say I'm a huge board game guy. Card games never could get into Magic. Play some Hearthstone. Play gin rummy. I guess I'm not a big border card game guy. Eric, what about you?
So yeah, I never played poker. My wife's very into poker. But in college I played a lot of Michigan rummy, which is very fun. But then on the board game front, so during quarantine I've done some virtual Cards Against Humanity and virtual Trivial Pursuit, which was fun. We all made sure to get the same Trivial Pursuit, a few of us, and play it. And then I'm known for buying board games based on movies and then never actually playing them, but I want to. So I have a Bill and Ted board game, and that looks like it could be fun. And I just got sent a Back to the Future board game I'm going to play at some point, but haven't actually done that. But I'll get to it at some point. It'll be great.
Hasbro is remaking Hero Quest, which I'm very excited about. That is probably the best board game of my youth, which also then put me on my small plastic people I paint addiction. But so super looking forward to that. Not really a card game guy either. I missed Pokemon completely. Too much math and Magic the Gathering for me because I'm an idiot. I think that covers them. This is weird. Charles Clark asked if you could listen to any Wizards Spotify playlist. What Wizard Spotify playlist would you listen to? I like this question a lot, actually.
Wow, that's tough.
This is a movie fight speed round question, I think.
For me, it'd be a Lucius Malfoy, because I want to kind of know what like sort of moody, like the Wizard equivalent of some like moody 70s music or 80s music that I assume he was into.
Yeah, but he's like a Tory. Like it's all like he would listen to classical music, whatever the wizard Handel is.
I think it's like Wizard Morrissey for him. I don't know.
Wizard Morrissey would be good. Yeah, the problem is that they're all like from the UK, so their music choice is probably not great. I think at the best you're getting like the Weasley twins probably listen to like Oasis, because like doesn't this also take place? Was it the 90s? Like what year is it during Harry Potter?
The Harry Potter books are set in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting a lot of Oasis, maybe some Spice Girls and stuff like that, like or whatever the wizard equivalent is. I just think that was not a great era in music, especially in the UK. If it were earlier, like maybe there's like a cool TA that listens to The Cure or something like that. But I think that you're either getting the grown-ups who are probably, I'm thinking like Fantastic Beasts, like Dumbledore probably listens to like flapper music and like whoa, listen to this one.
I do think that because they did really I think miss an opportunity with the Weasleys' dad being the Muggle obsessed one to just constantly be making UK pop references.
Oh, he's just listening to music.
Have you heard Oingo Boingo?
I do love those Muggles blur.
Is there any non-Harry Potter world wizards or magical creatures in their Spotify playlist? I want to open that up just to the.
Well, you've got Gandalf, obviously.
I want to. You know what? I want to listen to some Fleetwood Mac, so I'm going to go with Gillian Owens from Practical Magic. I'm just going right into that swamp witch aesthetic with Nicole Kidman's character from that movie. I just want to listen to some Stevie Nicks, man.
Yeah, I mean the instant one is like what's John Cusack in High Fidelity or Jack Black in High Fidelity or something like that. Like you get somebody who works at a record store, knows the way around, but like fantasy or fictional character, oof, tricky.
So there's a singer in the Harry Potter books that's mentioned here and there, Celestina. Am I saying her name right? Warbeck. And if you go to Diagon Alley at Universal Orlando, she performs there. And it turned out a high school friend of mine who became a musical theater, wrote some songs for Broadway shows, wrote her songs. So that's his strange contribution to the Harry Potter universe is a Celestina Warbeck. So he can write all the songs for all these guys, for all the wizard blurs. And,
knowing that that's out there takes me back to my regional theater college days when you did a cattle call audition to audition for that part. Probably I either want that or the Blue Man Group, man. That's what I'm really gunning for.
Chat, by the way, is saying that a lot of these wizards would be into bardcore, which I was not aware of as a
bardcore.
Apparently, bardcore is an internet phenomenon that became popular in 2020. Consisting of medieval-inspired remakes of hip-hop and rock songs.
Wow. I know where my YouTube evening is going.
Oh, I'm jumping in. I've gone the other way. There's a metal guy that does all the Witcher songs that are pretty dope, but I'd much rather hear Metallica via a bard. That actually sounds pretty good. Bill, okay, this is a little heavy to get into.
My answer, by the way, would be Clarence Boddicker from RoboCop. I would like to hear his Spotify playlist the most.
Perfect.
I think that would rip.
Bill Fall Gravity asks, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Controversial.
I mean, yeah. I would say animated it would be Ralph, but I think that the live action one, he's too much of a drama boy. So I think that I guess overall you can't go wrong with Mike.
I think all arounder he's probably a little more dependable. Although you got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket is an all-time line. So I think I got to lean with the drama boy.
I've always been a Donatello guy. Part of it, I know when I was a kid, was simply that purple was my favorite color. But I also always liked the bow staff. With when people got their fancy blades and nunchucks, he's just got a stick, but he can use it well.
Yeah. I was we didn't really have a lot of money growing up, so when everybody was ordering out of the martial arts catalogs and being like, I got 8 ninja stars, 4 pairs of size, and a $300 ninja suit, I had a stick that I found that my dad got me from Home Depot. So yeah, Donatello for the poor kids. Casey Jones.
And the purple love.
Oh, Casey Jones. Yeah, was the coolest for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see here. Patrick Hogarth asks, what are your favorite mythical creatures?
I mean, I will say the Niffler is very cute in these Fantastic Beasts movies, so I'm pro Niffler.
I mean, I'm partial to your Lovecraftian horrors. You know, your Cthulhu's, your nameless entities that boggle the mind and can't be spoken of. Or a mermaid. I don't know what mythical creatures are.
I do love me a good griffin. Griffins are cool.
I've always really liked the weird little floating head from Big Trouble in Little China. What it sees, Lopan knows.
That's a good one.
Got that big gross tongue. They stab it in the forehead. That thing's fun and weird and pointlessly gross. So that'll be my answer for that.
I like isn't it Iceland where they like genuinely believe in fairies? And they're like, no, yes, we have fairies here. Elves? Okay.
I think it's elves. And that's a pretty dope way to be.
Yeah. Why so many Icelanders still believe in invisible elves. There's an article in The Atlantic. So yes, I'll say Icelandic elves.
Although, you know what? You know who's dope? The Krampus. I don't think he gets enough credit.
Yeah.
I just love a mythological creature that puts bad kids in a sack and hits them with a reed. I think that's pretty cool.
That's your sweet spot.
Panther, I'm going to flip this one, Panther, because I want us to be positive today. What horror movie do you guys love the most? And then I'll add on, since we're now done with the Halloween season. Were there any horror movies that you guys watched for the first time this year that you really loved?
Horror movie I loved the most?
Yeah. Or like a new one that you saw this year that you were like, that's pretty great. I think my two standout favorites this year are The Ritual, which I thought was fantastic. And then, man, if you guys haven't seen Color Out of Space,
I keep needing to watch that. Yeah.
It's so, the descent into madness that Spencer just described with Lovecraftian creatures, done by Nick Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And he's descending into madness because he switches his accent to like a weird Bill and Ted voice, and it's real good. It's real good.
I'm in. I mean, all time for me, if I was told that you have to just pick your very favorite horror movie, I'd probably go Nightmare on Elm Street. Just because I love Freddy so much and I love that world so much and I love everything, and it begat so many other things. This movie this year, new stuff. There's a Host that Spencer and I reviewed together. And I'm trying to remember, I've watched a bunch of stuff on Shudder, and now it's all kind of blurring together. What was that? You just named it, Joe. What was the director you were talking about? You were suggesting for like a Harry Potter.
Tigers Are Not Afraid.
Yeah, Tigers Are Not Afraid. Which I know people will be like, is that really horror or not? And it is. It's a tangent of horror. But I love that movie, and I love sort of the mood and feel of it, and it goes more into the sort of fantasy / sad side of horror. But yeah, I think that's really
a little more Pan's Labyrinthy, but in terms of tone. But super, super good. Hey, speaking of horror. Eric, we got a little junket. You want to set us up?
I shall set us up. Did the virtual junket, as all junkets are now, for Freaky, which is the new Blumhouse movie with Catherine Newton and Vince Vaughn doing a play on a body switch movie, except that it's a teenage girl body switching with a serial killer.
This looks fun.
It's really fun. It's the director of the Happy Death Day movies did it. And it's a Universal movie, and it is opening in theaters this Friday, which I think I mentioned this in SJU last week. If you're like, how is that happening, or why is Universal even doing that? They haven't said anything, but there's a lot of assumption this will be the first movie to use the after 3 weekends we can go to VOD deal with AMC theaters. So we'll see if that happens. But right now, we'll be in some theaters. And if you don't want to go to some theaters, it'll be at drive-ins. But it is a fun movie. And so I spoke to the director and cast of that. It's a really gory movie, guys, and I love gore. So they dive into some of the fun, wet, gross stuff that was happening on set. So you can check that out.
Check this out. We'll see you tomorrow.
My life was pretty normal until the night I switched bodies with a serial killer. I'm just a girl.
This movie is super fun. There have been a lot of body switch movies but none that have taken this approach. For both of you, did you see the script and see the opportunity it would give you as an actor and just say, I have to do this?
Yes. I definitely wanted to do this. I wanted to be a serial killer. I know I'm a nerd. I'm really like Millie in real life. I was like, let me just try. Let me just see if I can do it. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I had to go for it.
Vince, for you, was it just, getting to play a high school girl? That's an opportunity I have to take.
Yeah, for sure. And also knowing that Chris Landon was directing it, because, he mixes the genres of horror and comedy really well, which is not an easy thing to do. And I thought the kills were so cool and a lot of good jumps and scares. And then the comedy was really fun.
It's me, it's Millie. Hail, Blissfield, high, fill our glory and our might.
In order for us to pull off this very heightened, hat trick of a concept, the audience really needed to believe that they were who they were. And they had to root for Millie. The audience really relates to Millie when it's Catherine in the beginning of the film, and you really do sort of empathize and sort of feel for this girl who's struggling to figure out who she is and how she fits into the world, and dealing with bullies at school and all the things that I think a lot of people go through in high school. But then when she's in Vince's body, I think that's when the audience starts to really fall in love with her, because they see this girl who's starting to become liberated by being in this body. There's a lot of weird wish fulfillment going on here.
Move! How's that feel? I'll make you wish your stupid face was never born. Oh my God, did you just pee yourself?
Yes! Did you kind of play it real, or were there times where you're like, how much should I go a little wackier on this?
I think you always want to stay authentic and grounded, and comedy a lot of times is just an overcommitment to the absurd. So there's some of these scenes work on so many levels. There's scenes where you're earnest, like the scene that Catherine talks about where she's tied up as the butcher, and I'm trying to let Booker know that it's Millie who's trapped in the body.
He's crazy.
Okay, Booker, can you look at me, please?
Booker!
Dry up, bitch.
Booker, help! Booker!
Will you shut up?
Booker!
Chris, as I'm sure you know, if you love horror comedy, has mastered this very particular tone with like the Happy Death Day movies. By the time we all got to set, he's just directing us to be as real as humanly possible under these insane circumstances.
I want my body back.
Come and get it.
This movie delivers on the gore front. Did you guys get to see much of that on set? And what did you think of these creations?
It was really cool to see how all of these like different departments came together to like create these effects. And then just seeing the final product with all of the like special effects added to, I was like, oh my God. Terrifying.
You're black! I'm gay! We are so dead! Most of the time I'm running around with Celeste, but I have this one scene where somebody gets one of Chris Landon's classic deaths, and half the time I'm acting with the person, and the other half I am acting and screaming with that person's full casted down to the eyelashes body dummy, and that dummy gets obviously torn to bits and shreds and blood comes out of it. Oh my God, it's a slaughterhouse.
The kills in this movie, they really deliver. As a big makeup effects fan, I loved all the gore. What did you guys think, seeing what they were coming up with and seeing that on set?
I knew that doing this movie, I was going to have to get really bloody. So I was prepared for all of that. My favorite was the chainsaw kill, because I just like splattered me with blood. It was like this machine that just shot blood out at you. It was disgusting.
My favorite stuff was seeing, Catherine as the butcher going back to high school and kind of these oddly revenge sequences. The one with the teacher, without giving too much away, there's a saw involved, but not a chainsaw.
I have a weird knack for coming up with bizarre deaths. We felt that in order for the concept to really sing, we needed that kind of over-the-top, gory violence and contrast. Because these movies, by tradition, are very cute. It was sort of like, how can I make the goriest Disney movie ever? That's kind of what it is.
Catherine is so great playing the killer in this movie. Obviously, she's literally playing sort of a male character in her body. But it got me thinking about how there's not a lot of, iconic female killers in horror movies and slasher movies specifically. Would you like to see that change down the line? Bring some more?
Some of the people I've been most terrified of were women. I have 4 sisters. So yeah, it'd be great to have more female killers. Misery and Kathy Bates, like that performance is mind-blowingly good. And I go back to like Play Misty for me. She's terrifying. So I think there's definitely space, and we should definitely be making more movies with iconic female killers.
Great. We're gonna get killed by Murder Barbie.
I'm just a girl